Last time we talked about how God, who knows the need, positions someone to drive change by providing for them to be able to go on location with protection and provision from the king himself. Today we are going to see what Nehemiah did upon arrival in Jerusalem to move the project forward. Now the first thing he did was wait 3 days before doing anything. So God has broken his heart, moved him to drive change, and brought him on location with a general plan to rebuild the city. His next step is to survey the situation, but he does it at night. He didn't want anyone to know what he was up to yet. So Nehemiah came with official letters and building materials that were either en route or already there. So why would he not immediately announce what God had put on his heart to do? Well, the short answer is that he wasn't ready yet. Though he was confident of both the need and of the Lord's favor, he still had some preparatory work to do if he was going to convince the people that there to get personally involved. And so he decides to start small. Rather than rebuilding the entire city, he proposes they just rebuild the outer wall. And he wisely suggests they work on the portion of the wall closest to their own individual homes. This made the work personal. So look at what God has done in this story. God knows the need. He has positioned someone to drive change. He has provided for that person to both go on location and propose a personal and practical next step that made sense to the residents who live there. So what can we learn from this story? How can we make a difference? We're concerned, we have prayed, we're willing to move beyond prayer to participation, and we want to take the next step. Well, here's 3 things we can do. Firstly, gain personal knowledge of the need. Nehemiah wasn't content to give advice from a distance. He felt it was important to go on location and see the situation for himself. Talk with those affected, and let that inform what he did next. So, how can you go on location with the need that you see? How can you connect with those affected and let it inform what you decide to do next? So gain personal knowledge of the need. Number 2, rally the troops. Nehemiah knew this wasn't something he could do alone. He was going to need to inspire those with a vested interest to take action. Now, he understood their emotional state. They were ashamed, they were afraid, and they felt helpless to change the situation. And his physical presence, his empathy, in addition to the king's authority, gave him a platform upon which to make his appeal. So who do you need to be present with? Are you yet able to adequately understand and empathize with their perspective so that you can actually identify a practical next step? Number 2, rally the troops. Number 3, do your part. Nehemiah did identify a practical next step that was achievable for each resident. Repair the section of wall in front of your front door. In other words, no one can fix this alone, but we need each person to do their part. And then Nehemiah shared clear evidence of God's favor to inspire them to act. So who are the natural stakeholders in this situation that you see? Who stands to benefit if things improve? Who stands to suffer if they don't? Is there a practical next step they might view as achievable? So I pray that each of us might continue to learn from this story how we might be a part of the answer to our own prayers. Praying with you, David.